So everyone is freaking out because the US is going to sell some Bitcoin, and the consequences are significant, but not for you or the US government. Let me explain. The US filed a notice to sell 130 million in Bitcoin that was seized from the infamous Silk Road, which was created by Ross Ulbricht in 2011. It was an online black market where buyers and sellers could trade illegal items anonymously with Bitcoin. For as smart as Ross Ulbricht was, he was caught red-handed in a San Francisco library in 2013. And this was the beginning of the US accumulation for Bitcoin. So now they're planning to sell $130 million in Bitcoin. This is chump change. Whose silly idea was it to take a scarce asset and sell it for a non-scarce asset that the US could print with a click of a button? What's the message here? Do they think that we're fools? Because this amount of Bitcoin is peanuts compared to what we just went through. Over $4 billion worth of GBTC has been sold off recently, explaining the downturn of the Bitcoin price. 1 billion of the GBT sell-off was from our good friend Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. So where did the rest of the sell-off for GBTC come from? Customers who are trying to escape the high fees of Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust. Look how much higher Grayscale's fees are, 1.5%, and then the second highest after that is BlackRock's 0.25%. And before the ETF even launched, these companies such as BlackRock and Fidelity, they went at war trying to lower their fees to attract more customers, which it did. But Grayscale has decided to keep their fees high, so why would customers stay and get screwed? Will Grayscale actually lower these fees? We have yet to find out. However, the GBTC outflows are slowing down and the Bitcoin price is showing strength. But back to the US, although they're selling these crumbs, they are not Bitcoin shrimps. Not many people know this, but the US is actually the single largest known holder of Bitcoin in the world with over 200,000 Bitcoin. Technically, Satoshi Nakamoto owns more Bitcoin, but we don't know who he is. We don't even know if he's alive. So where did the US buy all this Bitcoin? They didn't. It was all confiscated, most notably through three major seizures. Number one, the Silk Road seizures. Number two, the 2016 Bitfinex hackers. These hackers really messed up. They stored private keys on a third-party cloud provider. So of course, the US had access to it. And this is a reminder for you to not store your private keys on a third-party cloud provider or a password manager. We even just saw 4.4 million stolen in one day due to a LastPass hack in 2023. And the third major Bitcoin confiscation was from Silk Road hacker James Zhang. But let's zoom out for a second. The US has been sitting on this large stockpile of Bitcoin for a while now, but I think they learned their lesson about selling early after mistakenly auctioning off 30,000 Bitcoin to Tim Draper in 2014, when Bitcoin was trading for only 3 digits. And I'm sure they wish they could go back in time and undo that mistake. Don't be like the United States. Don't sell your Bitcoin too early. I do believe we are in the beginning stages of a bull market, and we need to take advantage of every second of it. That's what we're doing in my private community, covering trends before they become trends. Large caps, small caps, airdrops. Doing this through a one-on-one call setup, followed by classroom modules and live calls twice a week to answer all of your questions. I'll leave a link for the community down below. So historically, selling Bitcoin too early ended badly for the United States government. But this time around, if they don't play it right, it could end much worse, and here's why. The US holds the world reserve currency, and it continues to lose value through inflation, and more countries are losing respect for the US dollar. So if that doesn't work out, and more countries stop honoring the US dollar, well, the United States has the largest stockpile of gold in the world. And if that doesn't work out, the United States owns more Bitcoin than any other nation or government, but not by that much. Interestingly, China is a very close competitor. Back in 2020, China seized about 195,000 Bitcoin from the Plus token scam. If they haven't sold any of this, this puts China neck to neck with the United States in terms of government-held Bitcoin. And during that confiscation, China also seized 833,000 Ethereum, 487 million XRP, 79,000 Bitcoin Cash, 1.4 million Litecoin, 27 million EOS, 74,000 Dash, 6 billion Doge, and 213,000 USDT. So in terms of the US keeping their large stack of Bitcoin, this allows them to secure world dominance. The US cannot afford to offload their Bitcoin, and you cannot afford to not watch this video right here.